I'm running my campaign of fear to bring my base out. I only have one trick. I have one strategy, and that is bring out my base. Now, we don't know that that's going to work, that that's even an effective strategy. It worked for him one time. Doesn't mean it'll work for him again. But that is why he's bringing this up again. I guarantee you, after the election, it will go away again.
Is that a Cajun expression?
Can I ask, and I'm jumping ahead here a little bit, will it also mean that the troops at the border will go away right after Election Day?
Dear God, can you imagine?
I think that's a separate issue.
It is a separate issue, but it's also tied into the election. And
well, maybe all of it will go away if it's mission accomplished by Trump. If he gets,
we don't know
if he gets the folks out. We're going to talk about the midterms.
Yeah, but what does the amendment say? Well, what does it specifically say?
Yeah, what it specifically says is that all persons born or naturalized in the U.S. and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. And of the states wherein they reside, period, end of paragraph. That's the whole thing. Now, here's an interesting case. 1898 is the closest the U.S. Supreme Court has come to resolving this, and it's U.S. versus Wong Kim Ark. It's cited as establishing birthright citizenship, but they held only that the kids of legal permanent residents were automatically citizens, and that's giving the Trumpsters an opening to say, hey, the Supreme Court hasn't done it. But here's the other related question. Is it really okay to change this by executive order?
No, of course not.
Well, here's Trump's argument. His argument is, well, maybe some people disagree as to what the 14th Amendment means, but I personally think it means that I'm right and birthright citizenship is not a thing. Right. Therefore, I'm going to issue an executive order implementing my understanding of the 14th Amendment, and if you don't like it, which you won't, you may sue, which you will, as they did in the travel ban, immediately. And let's work it away up to my Supreme Court that I've just stacked a few people onto, and let them decide, doggone it. Yeah. So what's wrong with that approach?
Is it legal? Is it legal? It probably is. I don't know. You're the legal guy. I don't know.
I think that's the route he's going to take. If he issues the executive order, you know the Democrats are going to immediately sue. They are going to find a United States District Court judge to say, forget it, I'm enjoining the executive order, goes to the circuit court, whether it's D.C. Circuit or the Ninth Circuit, and then up to the esteemed United States Supreme Court.
5-4?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, it will be.
Well, you think Chief Justice Roberts is going to be comfortable? Because he's the decider now. You got 4 liberals, definitely against Trump. You got 4 conservatives, probably for him. Roberts, he's got his legacy to consider. Does he want to be known? I mean, he saved Obamacare twice, so he's not exactly, a troglodytic conservative,
so he could be the Anthony Kennedy of...
You think he would be willing to just toss aside birthright citizenship?
No, I don't know that he would. He's certainly not as party line as the other 4, and you're right, absolutely. He cares very deeply about his legacy. Everything he has said in public has really indicated that he thinks about, oh man, how are people going to view me in the future? Am I going to be seen as some sort of harsh, staunch conservative that just votes that way every time because of my political motivations? Or am I going to be seen as a jurist, somebody who really makes the right decision under a lot of pressure? And so maybe that he will come to what is, in my view, the right position. This is throwing the baby out with the bathwater and throwing the birthright citizenship out. First of all, the jurisdiction, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Most people out there who are legal scholars, and I'm not a legal scholar, I'm a lawyer, but that's it, they're going to tell you that subject to the jurisdiction of the United States basically excludes people who are diplomatically immune. Right. So if you're here as an ambassador and you give birth to your child, that child might not get birthright citizenship, or under some other agreement with another state where the state allows the person to, or we allow the person to enter the United States.
There aren't that many diplomats.
There are very few of them, and it's a very tiny, slight exception. If you were going to say that illegal immigrants aren't subject to the jurisdiction of United States courts, that means that you can't prosecute them in courts and throw them out. I don't think conservatives want that.
So whether he's got a legitimate issue or not, let's assume that one of the objectives of Trump is to get the word out to the base. We've got a big issue here, birthright citizenship. I want you thinking about immigration as opposed to health care or the climate of hate in America. there's already an indication that the midterms are going to have more people turning out voting than any other midterm election in history. It's like the nation is a teabag immersed into the soup of politics.
The numbers already show us. We do this show 3 days before the election.
Yeah.
There are record numbers. I know in Texas there are record numbers.
I was reading.
I think in Georgia.
In Texas, there were more early voters in this midterm than there were all voters in the last midterm.
Right, that's right.
Wild.
That's right.
Early voting is a tiny percentage.
But what does it mean? We don't know yet.
Well, what's your guess? I want to put your Nostradamus hat on and let me know what you think, because traditionally, the party in power during the first off-year midterm election after somebody becomes president for the first time loses 25 seats in the House. And so the prediction is, by most of the pollsters, the Republicans are probably going to lose at least 25. The Democrats will take it over. Do you think there's some chance that this dog whistle approach is going to reach out to the base to such a dramatic degree that on Tuesday we're going to be kind of shocked that people, the Trump red wave is going to swamp what would normally be a typical midterm trend, throw the bums out. We're going to punish the president for not being so great in his first 2 years.
I don't think so. I think that the turnout is primarily going to be from young people who are energized by this anti-Trump fervor, who are getting all excited and looking for
what
a place
happens?
to
I've heard
flex.
about the so-called young people too. Does it mean most young people vote Democratic? Don't know. I mean,
I think a lot of
traditionally, I think women are more likely to vote Democrat than men.
Yeah.
Young people under 40 are more likely.
And apathetic people are more likely to, like the people who apathetically don't vote, are more likely to
what?
To
not vote.
To vote Democrat if they do vote, or to lean Democrat even if they don't end up going.
You've heard the old expression, I don't know what apathy is, and I don't care either? Never mind, sorry.
Well, folks are pushing hard.
It's an old 40-year-old joke. Sorry.
Trump may have his technique for getting people out, inciting fear or whatever. Have you seen Oprah headed down to, is it Georgia, I believe? The first African-American female governor in the history of America is running for governor, and Oprah is there. And people are wondering if maybe this is a kickoff to Oprah's campaign, because she was even acknowledged it. She said, I'm not here running for anything. I just want to help this historic event.
Nobody said that, Oprah.
But she made a campaign speech that was another barn burner, like when she was at the Tonys or the Emmys or whatever. And you know what I would love? I would love to see
Oprah versus Trump.
Oprah, Hillary. This week, Hillary announced.
I'd like to be president.
But she said, I'd like to be president. The interviewer,
me too, Hillary.
I don't know if you saw the interview, Ken, but the interviewer was pressuring her. Really, she makes non-committal comments.
It was an interview with Hillary Clinton?
And Hillary finally admitted, I'd like to be president.
Yeah, but
and
who
then
wouldn't?
She started ticking off the resume items. She started talking about, I have been Secretary of State in the United States Senate, First Lady, and it's
Got 2 words for you, Hillary, Adlai Stevenson. Don't do it.
But, Bernie has tried several times. Joe Biden has tried several times.
It's true.
I think Kamala Harris and Liz Warren are just going to have to wait their turn.
Yeah.
Because it's going to come down
until
maybe
they're as old as Hillary is.
Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton.
Or Oprah Winfrey.
Harold Sasson.
Talk about a dream team. That would be pretty amazing.
Trump in 2020.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to do our fun feature, Moron of the Week. We always have 2 idiots we look at and we vote on. We'll figure out who's the stupidest on the Royal Oak Show. Stay with us.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
Located in the heart of Maui's premier resort, Kaanapali Beach Hotel is officially recognized as Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel and the #1 best value in Hawaii. With a range of accommodations and affordable dining options, this is the ideal setting to turn Hawaiian dreams into lifelong memories. Live Hawaiian entertainment every evening, free year-round children's programs, weekly arts and crafts fairs, welcome breakfast, and departure kukui lei ceremonies add to the value. Swim in the whale-shaped pool, indulge in the fabulous spa and hotel salon. Enjoy Hawaiian hospitality at its best at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Call 800-262-8450 or go to kbhmaui.com. That's kbhmaui.com. Aloha.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
Still got those annoying critters? I'm talking bees and fleas, spiders, ants, roaches, bed bugs, and those disgusting rodents. Have you made that call to Dewey Pest Control yet? What's holding you back? Get rid of them, and I mean right now. When the heat brings them out, it's time to call Dewey, because Dewey knocks them down and keeps them out. Dewey's an 89-year Heritage California family business with 32 offices statewide. Think you got those 24/7 wood-munching termites chewing up your house? Call Dewey right now for their free inspection. And all this month, get $89 off with a regular maintenance program. Call 800-209-0900. That's 800-209-0900. Just one call to Dewey does it all. 800-209-0900. Or get your free inspection online at DeweyRadio.com. That's Dewey, D-E-W-E-Y, DeweyRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken
Very
Jeffries.
appropriate for a film that's opening this
and
weekend.
our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. I hear it stinks.
Oh no!
I hear the movie stinks.
I heard mixed reviews. I heard the musical parts were great.
Yeah.
The guy has Freddie Mercury down
amazing.
to a T. But I understand. But the narrative and everything else was terrible.
Apparently the rest of it sucked diddly yuck.
So what you're saying is it's Mamma Mia all over again.
No, it's Bohemian Rhapsody all over again.
Totally different.
Hey, what do you mean Mamma Mia all over again? Mamma Mia was good.
The music was good, except
Did you
for
see
Hugh Grant trying to
Yeah.
sing. He can't sing even a little bit.
I'm telling
All
you. Oh, you're talking about Mamma Mia?
Mamma Mia,
that was Pierce
Mamma Mia.
Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Okay, Pierce Brosnan can't sing even a little bit.
Well,
He
actually,
forgot.
Mamma Mia's in Bohemian Rhapsody. Mamma Mia, Mamma
Mia.
Mia.
That's true.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the music is amazing. Freddie Mercury was this incredible, otherworldly talent.
Yeah.
Now he is otherworldly, R.I.P. But I mean, it's too bad that apparently the movie just doesn't hold together, other than the fact.
Well, you
that
haven't seen it yet, right?
I have not.
I was thinking of
I've
it,
seen
but the
clips.
reviews were so mixed and bad. Actually, bad.
So
Never
Trailer
trust the
bad.
reviews. Waste your $12.
I don't know. I love the music so much. I'm going to see it.
Good.
So, moron of the week. Loyal viewers of the Royal Oak Show know that we have 2 morons a week we consider. And,
3 actually are on the table.
3 people.
Be 5
but
morons of the
two
week.
stories, and then at the end of the show we vote on who is the biggest idiot of them all. So here's candidate number 1. His name is William Sitwell. He's an editor for a magazine called Waitrose Food. Waitrose Food. It's a food magazine. They're not vegan. They don't really like vegans, apparently, because when a vegan guy wrote in and said, hey, I'd like to write an article about vegan food, and I'm pitching it to be in your food magazine.
Okay.
But, I'm a vegan. So what did this guy respond? He said in an email, oh, how about a series on killing vegans one by one?
Whoa!
Ways to trap them, how to interrogate them properly, expose their hypocrisy, force-feed them meat, make them drink steak and drink red wine. What? So you may have guessed the end of the story. William Sitwell doesn't sit well at the magazine anymore. He's been fired. What kind of an idiot?
Maybe his name was really Jeffrey Dahmer. And it was
Maybe he just thought he was being clever. But, I mean, how can you be so anti-PC so, ignoring of people's feelings to say something like that?
Maybe it depended what was at stake.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
This ties into our culture of hate section that we may have coming up later in the show, a bit later. I think that people are valuing discourse that they and others create that gets a rise out of the other side simply because it gets a rise out of the other side. Right. And I think they're saying, oh, that's a feature, not a bug. And there's really nothing positive about that. pissing people off is an indication that you're doing something wrong, not right. And it's the exception when it turns out you're doing the right thing, but it pisses people off. Yeah. And you should be viewing it that way. You should be thinking, is what I'm going to do, is what I'm doing right now going to hurt people? Is it going to make them unhappy? Then I won't do it unless it's really important. Yeah. Instead of the opposite, which is, let's own the libs.
Yeah, this is not the kind of guy I would want to invite over for Sunday dinner, even though he works for the Food
Right,
magazine.
he would probably.
You get some Sunday dinner with this guy.
Boy. So here is the worst apology on record that this guy gave.
Oh, God.
He said on Instagram, he offered an apology to any food and life-loving vegan. So it's not to everybody or anybody. It's only if you're a food and life-loving vegan to whom he's sort of apologizing, who was genuinely offended. So
so not just anybody.
That they be genuinely offended.
Moderately offended.
Some of you out there are not genuine, and I hate you still.
By remarks written by me as an ill-judged joke in a private email and now widely reported. Talk about a cranky apology.
Just the worst.
He's nominee number one.
He must have hired some PR guy to write that apology.
I think so.
A really bad one.
Ooh. He's a moron of the week candidate number one. So our second big story is the caravan at the border. And so...
Sorry, at the southern border of Mexico?
No.
Because they are thousands of miles away from the actual United States, headed basically west, but barely a little bit north.
Connor, it's just like high noon. Yeah. Frank Miller is headed on the noon train, and Gary Cooper is standing there protecting Grace Kelly. Yeah. And I think that's the metaphor.
If the train was going at like an average speed of 4 miles per hour and has multiple thousands of miles to go before it gets there and is projected to lose more than half of the people in the train before it arrives, and it's full of starving women and children instead of a guy with a gun.
So the president seems to be really, I think he's been successful in creating kind of a climate of fear of people, talking about, but there is the issue of the asylum requests. Currently the rule is if you set foot in the United States, you're here illegally, you get to say, whoa, I'm here for asylum. If you send me back, they're going to kill me. And so normally what we do is we say, well, this is terrible. Here, fill out some forms. We're going to give you a hearing. Go to the San Ysidro courtroom in 6 weeks. We'll have a hearing on it. And, it's okay for you to hang out in the United States until then and, have a good day.
Right.
And so then people disperse throughout the United States, and 98% of them don't go to San Ysidro. What Trump wants to do is to say, oh, well, we're going to detain them at the border. We're going to set up nice tents, and we're going to process the whole situation, and we're not going to let them meander and hope that they come back for a hearing. We are going to resolve it. When we get back, we will get your take on whether or not Donald Trump's reform is a good idea. Stick with us on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Were you scammed into signing a timeshare contract? And did you miss the part that said you have to pay for your great idea? Not only for the rest of your life, but when you're not here anymore, you get to pass this turkey onto your family for them to pay for the rest of their lives. Thanks, Dad. Don't burden your family down the road, and don't be stuck with expensive timeshare payments forever. Get out of your bad idea timeshare contract guaranteed, or pay nothing. Call Resort Release today and learn for free how their timeshare exit team can help you legally exit your timeshare contract. They've helped thousands of people, and they're A+ rated with a BBB. So if you feel scammed, get mad and get out of your expensive timeshare contract right now, guaranteed. Call NOW.
800-716-9903. 800-716-9903. 800-716-9903. That's 800-716-9903. Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Newsflash, the president has changed the tax laws, and now you may be able to pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, the tax doctor can help you pay the IRS as little as possible allowed by law. There are new tax laws for business owners, the self-employed, even W-2 workers. If you have a back tax problem or a few years of unfilled returns, new help to save you money is now here. Call right now to see how the new tax laws can help you. Plus, right now, we'll waive the consultation fee and give you a free tax savings report. Attention business owners, the self-employed, and W-2 workers. Make this free call to the tax doctor now and learn how to take advantage of the new tax laws that may help you pay the IRS less. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. That's 800-985-1610.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1,800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. We're going to get to Mr. Trump's notion for reforming the asylum rules in just a moment. But before we do that, we've got our Guess the Verdict feature to take care of. We've got two cases this time, and it's actually criminal cases, both involving gunplay.
Nice.
You guys get to guess who wins, who loses. So here's case number one. New York City woman has her purse snatched off her arm. She runs into a bar, asks one of the patrons to help. That's logical, right?
Yeah.
When the guy refuses, he's nursing his pina colada. Or, yeah.
Good choice.
Or his White Russian. She pulls out a gun out of her pocket and shoots him.
Whoa, what? Wait, she had a gun?
She claims she was temporarily insane with anger and fear over the purse incident. So you're on the verdict. You're on the jury. What's the verdict? Does she get convicted, or does her insanity and anger defense?
Did she kill him, or did she wound him, or
no,
what?
she just wounded. She just winged him.
Just winged him.
Good thing he was consuming alcohol, because that could help reduce the pain.
There we are. Good point.
So what do you think?
I think the circumstances, okay, you know, maybe she is temporarily insane, but the circumstances of a jury looking at this and going, why didn't you shoot the criminal instead of the guy drinking in the bar?
Yeah,
There's no way they're going to have sympathy for somebody who they can't identify with, who's making such bizarre and illogical decisions.
Oh, Lawsy, he stole my purse. What am I going to do? I know. I'll go into the bar and ask for help instead of shooting the guy. You good point, Connor. What's your guess?
Yeah,
guilty or not guilty?
Yeah.
6 years in jail.
Yup.
Guilty.
Lock her up. Oh, wait, we can't say that.
Lock her up.
Case number two.
Ooh, wait a minute. Where have I heard that before?
11-year-old boy in Dallas, Texas walks into the dentist's office, demands that his braces be removed. Can you identify, Connor? You weren't a big fan of your braces,
That's basically what happened with me when I was an orthodontist, but sure.
The dentist says, all right, little fella, that's not how it works. The boy pulls out a .45 caliber automatic pistol on the dentist while the dentist works on the boy's teeth. Quick-thinking police have the dentist paged over the office's intercom. Dr. Mengele, The boy lets the dentist go to answer the page. He's a considerate felon.
Yeah.
The police then burst into the room and grab the boy just as he's spitting into a sink.
But did he get his braces off?
I don't know. Whether he got his braces off or not, guilty, not guilty, hometown hero,
it's difficult.
Life in prison.
It's difficult to imagine a circumstance in which this kid doesn't go to juvie. I'm going to say he got 2 years in the actual slammer. That is juvie, because he's a kid.
What's your guess?
Yeah, probably. I mean,
close. 2 years probation.
Oh,
just probation. Basically, he's released into the population.
So
was the gun? That's a stupid question. Was the gun loaded?
Beats me. I have no facts other than what I told you.
Oh,
so
my God.
You assume I've got deep.
How old was the
background
kid?
Here. 11.
The kid was 11.
11.
And wait a second.
All
Where did
right.
this happen?
Dallas, Texas.
Gun-toting down.
Don't move to
Everybody's
Dallas,
packing in Dallas.
whatever you do.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, so we've been talking about the caravan headed for the border. We've been talking about Trump's idea that, look, we'll look at your asylum application. We're just not going to release you into the population and hope you show up. Statistics show that generally people don't show up. And I will give you one more stat before you give me your comments. In 2009, there were 5,000 asylum claims. Last year, there were 73,000 claims. Now, I don't know, is that sort of a logical progression? Did people just read about it? It suggests that maybe some of them aren't sincere.
Well, no,
but
it doesn't suggest that some of them aren't sincere. It is very tightly correlated to the increasing economic instability and gang violence and organized crime violence in their home countries of Guatemala and Honduras especially. That is the cause of more asylum seekers. And there's no reason to believe that those are shady claims.
But it is easy for Trump to turn around and blame it on George Soros and Democrats and say this was organized by Nancy Pelosi. If you want to go there.
It is, in fact, even less likely now that they're going to be successful in their asylum claims because there are so many people seeking asylum, and the U.S. is naturally reticent to grant more and more claims. Now, the statistics that you mentioned earlier, so this guy who's like the head of ICE or whatever goes on Wolf Blitzer's Situation Room and he starts pounding.
Fox,
this is Wolf Blitzer. This is CNN.
Oh,
right?
was it on CNN?
He's pounding the podium on this whole, most of them don't show up, and Blitzer's going, I don't think that's true. I think most of them do show up, and it turns out that if you try to measure how many people don't show up for their asylum hearings after the initial hearing, after they're doing this, as this ICE guy put it, the catch and release program that Trump likes to cite, it turns out that 60 to 75% of them do show up. And that is the current stat as measured by an imprecise measure.
Measured by who?
This is measured by PolitiFact, but that stat is derived from looking at how many in absentia, meaning how many missing defendant verdicts there are. So how many times does the judge say, there's nobody here, I'm going to rule in their absence one way or the other, which is usually against them because they didn't show up. Now, that is a pretty good proxy for how
that was also done. Politico, was that from Politico?
PolitiFact.
Those numbers? PolitiFact?
Yeah.
Stephen Colbert this week was not that I go to him really for political news, comedy, maybe that's a whole political issue too.
Right.
But in any event, he had Chris Wallace on, and they debated those numbers, and they were kind of getting into it, friendly, but they were kind of getting into it, and they said, I think he said, we're going to check with Politico. They got the number from Politico, which essentially said, I think what you said was that a large majority of them do show up.
Honestly, though,
I don't know.
That's not even my most compelling stat on this. My most compelling stat on this is the FCMP. The FCMP is the Family Case Management Program that existed prior to this July, which was a program in which the judges who are running this system decided these migrants are who are here seeking asylum.
Is that run by the federal government?
It's a program run by the federal government in which the courts could decide this person is a flight risk, and I'm going to enroll them in the program because and that there'll be extra machinations and processes that can help bring them into court, including you could even do things like put ankle brace monitors on people so that they'll show up, just like if you're on house arrest or something like that, but also just check-ins with them and finding out more information about where they're going to be living and that sort of stuff. The FCMP had a 100% success rate of bringing people back in for their subsequent hearings. 100%.
So
and then Trump shut the program down.
So you're shitting.
Because that would just be sort of coddling
against
the people.
The narrative.
Yeah,
you're shedding facts onto this, and you guys mentioned CNN and Fox. I want to raise an issue.
Yeah.
I understand CNN and Fox. You turn them on, you expect one side or the other.
Right.
The New York Times, it's the paper of record.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice if they would have a down-the-middle approach. I want to read to you from their lead story the other day, a couple of days ago. They were talking about Trump's speech about the tent cities down at the border.
Yeah.
They say, with the possibility that Republicans could face significant losses in the midterm elections, the president has fully embraced a dark anti-immigrant message in the hope that stoking fear will motivate voters to reject Democrats.
This was not an analytical piece. It was a straight news piece.
The front page lead story above the fold.
Right, yes.
In a rambling speech on Thursday afternoon that was riddled with falsehoods and vague promises to confront a, quote, crisis, air quotes, at the border, Mr. Trump used the official backdrop of the White House to step up efforts to demonize a caravan of Central Americans that has been making its way through Mexico. Now, I don't know. Do you suspect or detect a tinge of bias by the New York Times there? I know you could defend every single element.
Yeah.
Dark implies inappropriately
well,
dark,
the first sentence is what? Starting with the first sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
dark anti-immigrant message. I'm just saying, I know we live in the climate of anger and hate.
Yeah.
But can't, if you're the paper of record, wouldn't you try a little harder to maybe be kind of down the middle?
No, they shouldn't have done that.
I disagree with both of you.
They could have made it an editorial.
No.
You disagree with that?
Let's tear this up and put it on the editorial page like that.
See,
I like that.
This,
idea.
I think, is crucial. You have to say Trump's speech was riddled with falsehoods.
No, I know that, but is that but there's a way to write it, I think, which is a little less confrontational. Here's the problem. Yeah. You have a president who's confrontational.
Exactly.
And do you fight fire? Maybe the Times thought they were doing
Connor,
it.
Are you saying you can't handle the truth? Oh, no, that's a movie. I'm sorry.
Look, if you've got a president who was successfully elected and has now been governing, running under the assumption that no one is going to call him on his BS. You have to call him on his BS. There is no explanation for his...
I think there was a better... Not that I'm an expert, and I don't want to be a reporter for the New York Times. I don't want to be a newspaper reporter, especially now that jobs are going away, except in L.A. at the LA.
Yeah, not like radio.
But there's probably a better way to write that.
I don't think so. I think that you have to be on the nose and right in people's faces and say, look, the president's lying to you. The president is drumming up support and appealing to fear and trying to stoke fears in order to win an election. There's no other way to slice it.
He did promise something else. He promised something new and this is why the networks were mad at him. The cable nets were mad at him. I saw that speech. That was the one at the White House the other day, right? And the White House apparently promised the network something new or something regarding immigration policy, which he didn't really get into.
And he said he rambled.
He rambled, and he got into a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
But they were mad at him about that. But it's not that this is disgusting and beyond the pale what the Times wrote, but it did, to me, it was kind of biased.
I'm glad we've had the discussion because, Connor, you're on record saying that the Bolsheviks at the New York Times are right. So we'll leave it at that. Yep. Now let's move to the rabbi at the synagogue shooting. This is stunning to me.
Oh my God!
This maniac murders the Jews at the synagogue.
Yeah.
And Vice President Pence shows up, and apparently they say it isn't his fault. It was like a Congress lady's fault. She arranged for a rabbi to show up to give the prayer or whatever, and they pick a Jews for Jesus rabbi.
Just
and I don't have any reason to believe that any of the victims of the shooting were Jews for Jesus.
No, they were not. No.
What in the world were they thinking? And yet people are defending it like, oh, well, we just reached out to the community and there were several rabbis available.
Well, they couldn't find a Jew for Jews rabbi, I guess, or something. I would be, okay.
I mean, it's offensive that they do.
And that's it. Before you give your perspective on it, I guess I could say maybe there's some viewers out there that don't really know what Jews for Jesus are, but they're basically evangelical Christians who believe that Jews are incomplete and are wrong, that Jesus actually was the Messiah and was magical, and that the Jews are, they need to be completed and better informed and fixed, and then eventually they'll rise to the level of what but basically what they do is they put on Jewish ritual and clothes.
It was
how did you feel?
As a Jew, I was very much offended. My niece, some of you know, my niece was shot in the Jewish Community Center shootings in Granada Hills many years ago. She's physically fine now and has a baby and lives in the Bay Area now. And she gave a speech, by the way, that was covered by the Bay Area media this past week in her local synagogue too. It was very powerful. And she said, by the way, and she closed it by saying, and she was crying through it, and she said, oh, by the way, I vote. And that was the end. She got a standing ovation.
Yeah.
There were like about 1,000 people there.
And what's your niece's name?
Mindy Finkelstein.
I'm sure we can probably look that up.
And so what happened is that, but she didn't address the Pence thing. She addressed the shooting.
Right.
But the Pence thing, somebody should have known better. Now, this was, I know, it was a political gathering, but someone should have known better to invite really, I don't know if it was a Jews for Jesus, right? It was a Messianic rabbi.
Right.
And Messianic congregations, right, believe in to me, it's like having it both ways. You can't have it both ways.
As Connor was describing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, in this setting,
it was extremely offensive.
So inappropriate. Let's talk about hate on the web.
And tone deaf. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about hate on the web, because, I mean, everybody's talking about the climate of hate and anger and the shootings and the bombs and so on. Apparently, Google won't pay for enough humans to actually censor hate speech, really despicable stuff. They use algorithms, and there are a bunch of holes in the safety net. And I'm just wondering, if we should move to ban more hate speech, and if so, how are we going to do it if it's too expensive for Google and all the other companies, Alibaba, to hire enough people to go through it? Because I can imagine it would be a pretty stupendously big job to try to have actual humans use their judgment. But apparently these algorithms just aren't cutting it.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult, especially with images. Text is at least searchable. Images are pretty difficult to search and parse and see exactly what's going on with this. I mean, we've had the same problems for years
most
now.
of the hate speech text, not images, though?
Fortunately, but memes have become a very big deal, and hate is certainly transmitted in coded language and images, precisely because it is hateful speech. If you're talking to your other, people who think like you, and you're only wanting to talk to them, and you don't really want to put on your Facebook or Instagram or whatever else something that is truly and clearly and obviously hateful, you can cloak it in this imagery that you and other bigots will understand.
Can they also code it in such a way where they pick up idioms?
Absolutely.
Can they?
Absolutely.
I don't know if
that's the hard part. Is the more you try and catch with your filter, the more false positives you get. Now, a lot of people would say, "Is my free speech on Facebook and Instagram so important that we can't stand some more false positives?" I don't know. We probably can. I think getting your social media account banned the way people do, that's the consequence, is not that big a consequence.
Let's talk about everybody's favorite CNN anchor, Don Lemon. He was in the news this week, and not just because he showed up and did his job. He said, quote, "White men are the biggest terror threat to the United States. There's no white guy ban. What do we do about that?" Are we okay with Don Lemon saying that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Why is that not hate speech right there?
We're white men, and he's right. Like, he's pointing out that people are afraid of minorities, and people persecute and discriminate against minorities because they're afraid of them, and there's no reason to be. If you look at the numbers, white people commit terrorist hate crimes all the time. We should be afraid of them, and yet we as a society constantly
isn't it
minorities.
Just as bad as categorizing all Muslims, all dark-skinned people as terror threats?
Well,
it seems like he's lumping together people based on race.
No. What he's doing is explicitly responding to the fact that people are demonizing people based on their race and their national origin.
Can I bring up one thing very frank? John Phillips on KBC said, Don Lemon, does he deserve to get fired like Megyn Kelly did for bringing up her blackface episode regarding Halloween costumes?
No, what he's doing is explicitly a political statement in response to people doing what he thinks is demonizing other people, and he's pulling it back and saying, whoa, you have no reason to do that because look at how many terrorists there are who are white men. I mean, that's a very balanced statement in my mind that, of course, looks bad when you think, well, I'm not a terrorist. I don't do that. I'm not a threat. It's like, yeah, well, that's how every Muslim feels at the moment when everybody says, oh, Muslims are a threat to our society. It's like, yeah, not me.
Hey, when we come back for our last block, we're going to have our second Moron of the Week candidate, our Hot Tub Time Machine feature, so stick with us on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Hey, Lorraine, do you realize that your mother, my mother-in-law, Chef Maria, has been serving Las Vegas since 1949?
Yes, I do, Dennis. That's when she first met Howard Hughes, who fell in love with her cooking.
And in 1955, she opened her first restaurant on Fremont Street.
Yes, dear. And another great customer was Liberace.
Wow. Then in 1962, while Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack were causing global excitement on the Las Vegas Strip, your family opened their second restaurant.
And in 1970, 1972, Elvis Presley began electrifying Las Vegas audiences and eating in our restaurants.
You know, Lorraine, this is quite a town. There's only one Las Vegas.
And there's only one Bootlegger Italian Bistro.
Folks, when you're in Las Vegas, come visit us. We'll make you feel like you're part of our family.
The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, conveniently located at 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard, South Strip. Visit our website at www.bootleggerlasvegas.com.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Their expert staff can help you turn your book idea into a real book, a masterpiece that could someday make the bestseller list in hard copy and digitally all across the world. Page Publishing can help you completely take your idea for a book, write it, and publish it. So if you want to join the ranks of some of the most famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit. Turn your book idea into publishing gold. Make a free call right now to Page Publishing.
800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. That's 800-378-3212.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. So, guys, we got our second moron of the week candidate I want to lay on you. Remember, the first one was the anti-vegan food editor who got fired. So our second candidate is a boy from Lafayette, Indiana. He's 12 years old.
I used to work there.
Oh, yeah?
On a radio station there.
So
Yeah,
he started a small fire in the boys' restroom, and he did it by urinating on an electrical outlet with the express purpose of trying to start a fire. In
I would never have thought that would start a fire.
This must be like a genius Einstein 12-year-old.
major,
Yeah, well done, kid.
He was arrested. Not clear what charges he'll face. Apparently, they don't have that crime on the books, if you can imagine.
What?
So, what do you think? Who's the biggest moron of the week? The 12-year-old boy who tried to and did start a fire in the boys' restroom by peeing on the outlet, or the guy who attacked the vegans and saying we should trap them?
You got to give credit to the kid who figured out the science behind how peeing on something could start a fire.
So therefore, he wouldn't be a moron. Though,
Not at all. He is a genius, a secret, stable genius.
The anti-vegan guy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I think so, too.
I think it's unanimous. I think you're right. So,
and it's nice to hear Lafayette, Indiana in the news, my old place where I used to work.
So in addition to Alec Baldwin getting arrested this week for apparently punching a guy in the jaw, because Baldwin had a guy try to save a parking space in Manhattan. Somebody else said, hey, I'm not going to have some guy save a space. I'm going to take it. And so Baldwin comes out and blammo, gets him in the jaw, and Alec apparently has an anger management issue.
Or two.
Yeah, or two or three. He's actually a big boxer. I saw him in the Gary Shandling show years ago. Gary was an amateur boxer, and so they got in the ring just, for the cameras. They don't hit each other in the face, but they, a little punching and so on. So this is Alec's issue. Another person who might have been arrested is Robert Mueller. if the charges were actually true. Apparently, Connor, you have information about sex charges against Robert Mueller that apparently have added up to Zippo?
It is fantastic. It's so amazing. It's the greatest story I've ever heard in my entire life. This guy named Jacob Wall is a Twitter personality on the conservative side who, because he's young and charismatic, is basically a con man, people have sort of flocked to him like, oh, he's one of these young conservative wonder kids. We love those people who are young and conservative. Right. The problem is that he's a crazy person, and he's a massive MAGA head Trump fan guy who can't get enough, and he hates this whole sex scandal thing and the Me Too movement, and his response to this is, well, look how easy fake sex allegations are. I'm going to try to hire a woman to make fake allegations against Robert Mueller. He cloaks it all behind a company he called Surefire.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, Surefire Intelligence. He tried to bribe these women $30,000 to make fake sex allegations against Robert Mueller. When the FBI found out about it,
he should have offered more.
He should have, yeah. Robert Mueller immediately turned it over to the FBI and said, well, do whatever investigation you want. Oh, almost like Kavanaugh should have done that. Almost like he should have just, maybe that's the right way to respond to bad allegations. Interesting. Anyway, so this guy's entire company collapses the second anyone takes one look at it and shines a light on it. Turns out he just put celebrities' pictures on as his employees. Like, oh, here's our Israeli bureau chief. Turns out that's a photo of Bar Rafeli. He disclaims the Israeli supermodel. He disclaims any connection to it. He says, I had no idea. I have no idea what's going on with this at all. And his profile picture is him, but just blacked out on the website. Very subtle. They look at who registered the website. It has a cell phone number. They call the cell phone number. It's his mom's cell phone.
No.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's his mom.
So what you're saying is, for now, Mueller is innocent of these
yeah,
sex
for
crimes.
now.
Okay, that's the good news.
It was amazing.
Hot Tub Time Machine. Megyn Kelly got into trouble about the blackface business. Well, this is World Series time of year. Matt, please play our Hot Tub Time Machine soundbite from the past.
Oh, God.
Peel it away a little bit. Just tell me, why do you think it is? Is there still that much prejudice in baseball today?
No, I don't believe it's prejudice. I truly believe that they may not have some of the necessities to be, let's say, a field manager or perhaps a general manager.
Came so
you really
close
believe
this
that?
year, asked by Ted Koppel
Al
20 years ago,
was,
why no black managers or general managers?
Oh, my God.
Because they don't have the necessities.
And the next day, Peter O'Malley fired him.
And you know what he followed
they had to fire him.
Thank God.
He said, well, black athletes don't have the buoyancy to be good swimmers.
What the hell?
Folks, I hope you have a better week than Al Campanis had in 1988. So long.
Enjoying all your favorite CRN programming is easier than ever. It's right on your TV, through your local cable provider, and on the web at crntalk.com. But when you're on the move, stuck in a plane, train, or in your car, catch up on all the shows you missed.